Facial recognition got a hit. Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
When people talk about action thriller franchises that completely changed the game, the Bourne movies always come up in the conversation. From the first film in 2002 all the way through the later sequels, the series has managed to mix gritty realism with stylish spy action in a way that left a big mark on Hollywood. That's exactly why the idea of a sixth Bourne film has been getting fans so excited, even though updates about it have been a little uncertain. The good thing is that Matt Damon, who has been the face of Jason Bourne for over 2 decades, still sounds more than ready to jump back into the role. And whenever Damon is enthusiastic, that always feels like a strong sign that something is definitely in the works. The story around Bourne 6 started gaining real traction in late 2023. That's when Edward Berger, who had just walked away with an Oscar for All Quiet on the Western Front, was reported to have signed on to direct the project. With Damon openly talking about returning, the whole thing seemed like it was about to move full steam ahead. Fans were thrilled because Berger is known for his sharp, grounded storytelling, and many felt he could bring something fresh to the franchise while still keeping that signature Bourne intensity. But fast forward about a year, and there haven't been any big announcements since that exciting first wave of news. Recently, during an interview with Cinema Daily US for his religious mystery thriller Conclave, Berger was asked about where things stand with Bourne 6. Instead of offering a clear timeline or solid details, he admitted that he wasn't sure if he was still attached as director. His exact words were pretty non-committal, something along the lines of not knowing what the future holds and not actively working on the film at the moment. On the surface, that might sound like a setback, but if you really look at it, there's still a bunch of reasons to feel hopeful about where the franchise is headed. For one thing, this isn't the only big franchise Berger has been linked to where rumors ended up being stronger than reality. Not too long ago, people thought he was going to direct Ocean's 14, but later it turned out he wasn't involved. The thing with Hollywood is that names get attached early, and sometimes schedules, creative directions, or contracts just don't line up. In the case of Bourne 6, Damon himself has already confirmed that Berger had pitched a strong idea for the movie, one that Damon called great. Considering Berger has written nearly all of his own films, it makes sense to think that he probably came up with some of the conceptual backbone for the project. So even if Berger steps away as director, his creative influence might still end up shaping the story. And let's not forget, Damon has always been careful about returning to Bourne unless he feels the story is worth telling. That was the case when he came back in 2016's Jason Bourne after working with Paul Greengrass again. So the fact that he's still expressing excitement about Berger's vision tells us that the foundation for a sixth film is strong. If Damon didn't believe in it, he would have likely distanced himself by now, and instead he's saying things like, "I hope it's great and that we can do it." Of course, people naturally start to worry when there's a long gap between announcements, especially since it's already been 8 years since the last film. But the timing might actually be more about Berger's busy schedule than anything else. He's been promoting Conclave and finishing up The Ballad of a Small Prayer for Netflix, so it seems like he simply hasn't had the space to properly sit down and push the Bourne project forward yet. It's not unusual for high-profile directors to juggle multiple projects and then circle back once their plate clears. So this pause might just be about timing, not cancellation. Meanwhile, the Bourne franchise itself is also at a turning point. According to reports, the rights to the series are going up for sale, handled by WME and Captivate Entertainment on behalf of Robert Ludlum's estate. Universal has been the longtime home for the films, but now big players like Skydance, Apple, and Netflix are reportedly interested in picking it up. This could actually be great news because a fresh studio might pour even more energy, funding, and global promotion into Bourne 6. And if Damon is already on board, it means whichever studio secures the franchise will want to move fast to make the most of his involvement. Looking back, the Bourne films have built such a strong legacy. The Bourne identity in 2002 introduced audiences to a spy who wasn't about flashy gadgets or over-the-top stunts, but about brutal hand-to-hand combat, real-world conspiracies, and a deep personal mystery. The sequels, especially the Bourne Supremacy and the Bourne Ultimatum, solidified that reputation, with Paul Greengrass's signature shaky cam style bringing an intensity that felt unmatched. Even when Jeremy Renner stepped in for the Bourne Legacy, the appetite for more Bourne stories remained high. Damon's return in 2016 only proved how beloved his version of the character is. And let's not forget the spin-off TV series Treadstone in 2019, which, although short-lived, showed that the world of Bourne still has so much room for exploration. Finally, the franchise has also been a powerhouse, pulling in over $1.6 billion worldwide across its films. That kind of track record ensures studios will always see value in keeping it alive. Because of that, it feels inevitable that Bourne 6 will happen. It's more a question of when rather than if. Even Berger himself, while saying he's not directing it right now, left the door open by acknowledging that if the right story comes along, there's every reason to bring Bourne back. His respect for Greengrass's work is clear, and he wants to ensure that if he does it, he can deliver something just as strong. That's not hesitation, it's commitment to quality. The other encouraging thing is the kind of stories a new Bourne film could explore. Damon is older now, which means Bourne himself could be portrayed as a more seasoned, even more weathered operative facing the consequences of decades of espionage. This opens up opportunities to revisit old characters too, something fans have been hoping for. Bringing back familiar allies and foes could create an exciting sense of continuity while also giving new audiences fresh entry points. And really, if you compare Bourne to other long-running characters like Wolverine, you see why this works. Wolverine has been reinvented multiple times across comics, movies, and now multiverse projects, yet fans never lose interest. Bourne shares that same mix of vulnerability and unstoppable grit that keeps people hooked. Even without sci-fi elements, he's relatable as someone caught between trying to live a normal life and being pulled back into a violent, hidden world. That's a timeless concept. So while it might feel like Bourne 6 is moving slowly, the signs are actually quite positive. Damon is enthusiastic, Berger's creative ideas are still in the mix, and the franchise is valuable enough that multiple studios are already circling it. Once the rights settle with a new home, it's almost guaranteed the film will move forward. And if Damon is still attached when that happens, fans will get the continuation they've been waiting for. In the end, it's important to remember that big franchises often go through these kinds of drawn-out development phases. What matters most is that the passion is still there, both from Damon and from audiences who have stuck with Bourne since 2002. With the right creative direction and studio backing, Bourne 6 can absolutely become a reality, and when it does, it has the chance to deliver the kind of intelligent, gripping action that made the series so legendary in the first place. So even though Edward Berger might be uncertain about his exact role right now, that doesn't close the door on the project at all. If anything, it keeps possibilities open, whether he directs it himself, contributes to the story, or hands it off to someone else while Damon continues to anchor the franchise. Either way, Jason Bourne's story isn't finished yet, and fans have every reason to stay optimistic about the 6th chapter making its way to the big screen. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop. And if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments section below.